Well, hello and welcome back for the first time in a long time. Unfortunately, the last 18 months or 2 years, it's been nothing but work. But today I'm going to try an experiment. Apart from the fact that my greenhouse is a complete tip and needs emptying out, so that's the end of last year's onions that we haven't got to, we haven't needed. So they're coming up, and you can see this bed absolutely needs taking apart. So before I do anything else and explain what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and tidy that up, and then I'll bring you back. Right, there we go, slightly better. All prepared for it. So, and those of you that have been knocking around for a while will vaguely recall a series I did on potatoes to determine whether or not the timing for potatoes made a significant difference to its ability to produce or its yield. And I did that probably 2019 or 2020. And I grew first earlies, second earlies and main crops. Started on the 1st of February, 1st of April, 1st of June and 1st of August. And the determination at that point was that the ones planted on the 1st of February took as long to produce as the ones planted on the 1st of April. However, that was inside a polytunnel rather than a greenhouse. And one of my biggest challenges is, whilst they were growing in the polytunnel, in pots this was that I could only get down there once a week to water. So as they got bigger, watering became a real issue because, of course, it's in a closed environment. What I'm attempting to do today is to utilise this bed in an otherwise part of the year where it wouldn't get used, because this is not only in a controlled environment, it's got the ability for automatic watering, and it should in theory be able to get us a crop that will basically arrive during the hungry gap. My thinking is that if I plant first earlies today, which is the last day of January, so tomorrow will be the 1st of Feb, in here we should have 12 weeks. I mean, most first earlies take between 8 and 10 weeks because of the lower temperatures and because of the lower light levels. I'm expecting that to take longer, so 12 to 14 weeks, something like that. If I plant them now, that should mean we have a harvest, all of February, all of March, all of April, probably first or second week of May, which is when typically I would put my kind of cucumbers, melons, things like that. I'd actually put them in the beds. Worst case scenario is that if it doesn't look like it's quite there, I'll just take them out and have whatever's there, because this is just an experiment for otherwise a dead period. Obviously, the three things that determine the success and growth factor of potatoes are temperature, sunlight level, and watering. They don't like inconsistent watering, so consistency is key. They don't need too much water, don't want too little. So in this bed I'm going to grow my favourite first early, which is Casablanca. In my experience, they produce fewer, much larger first earlies, which are exactly what we use a lot of more than anything else. We use bigger ones rather than smaller ones. They are delicious flavour, and they're very consistent for me. I've had some chitting for a couple of weeks on the bathroom window. Normally I don't worry about chitting, but in this case where the temperature is so low, it's going to be a challenge. So anything that will improve their, give them a good start is an advantage. Now, this bed is going to be treated very differently how I would normally treat potatoes. So I've got 24 there, so that is either 2 rows of 12 or 3 rows of 8. I'm probably going to go down the route of 2 rows of 12, because that should give better spacing to go into the bed, and that's how the auto watering is set up at the moment. I just think that would be more productive. But this bed is going to be fleeced from day one continuously. Now, if you were going to repeat this experiment I have advantages that you don't have in that I have power to this greenhouse, which means that if I think it is really going to affect the ability to do it, I have the option of running a soil cable underneath the fleece to maintain it, and I've got power programmable thermostats and things so that I can ensure that that bed remains warm enough. I'm probably going to try not to use it, but I've also got auto watering in here. You know, if you're happy to do that and you have the time to do that, to manually water, then you'll see no difference from the auto watering. But I work 12-hour days, 5 days a week. So the odds of me being able to get out here to water consistently are slim, so hence why there's an auto watering setup here. In terms of fertility, this bed was, as you can see, is really quite deep, up to my knee and beyond. So there's plenty of fertility in there, but I will, as I plant each hole, put a sprinkling of bloodfish and bone in the bottom just to give it some oomph, and then after the potatoes, but before I put in my climbing crops, I'll top up with another probably 3 or 4 inches of compost on top just to refresh the bed. I fully expect it to be successful, and I will bring you another video when it's harvest day so that you can see actually what the outcome was and how it succeeded, but or not, you know, never know. I find potatoes pretty tough in terms of their ability to withstand most things. It's currently, let's have a look at the thermometer. Currently 14 degrees in this greenhouse, and it's 6 degrees outside. So you've already got that significant temperature differential. By the time I put the fleece on, you'll find that this will be significantly warmer than outside, and certainly significantly warmer than a plastic polytunnel. So just to make it clear, I probably wouldn't have attempted this in a plastic polytunnel because glass retains heat much better than a polytunnel does, and I have the added advantage, I don't know if you can see, that I have a brick wall going around, you know, 2/3. This is south facing, this way, so that the sun will come in and will hit that wall, especially a little bit of that one, but especially that wall, and that acts a bit like a radiant heat source and will provide additional heat to the polytunnel, or at least maintain that temperature much higher than you'd normally get. I'm also in West Wales. I'm fairly close to the coast, so it's quite a mild climate anyway. You know, if you were trying to do this in the north of Scotland, you probably wouldn't be successful. But you know, if you're on the south coast or on the south of England, or close to, I know, particularly if you're kind of up to the Midlands, maybe up to kind of Manchester, Liverpool, that kind of area, but you're on the coast, again, the milder temperatures from the coast will probably do you well. Again, depends on the situation of your greenhouse. My greenhouse, the lengthways, is south facing, so we catch sun all day as it goes around. You won't catch it in the early part of the day, but towards the end it will go around, it'll catch it. Results in your own places may vary, but yeah, I will bring you back, but I suspect that's going to be successful. I'm going to stop you here, and I'll bring you back once the potatoes are in the ground and all fleeced up, so you can see what it looks like. Okay, you'll note the auto watering is in. You'll note the watering tracks where the automatic watering has been off since September. The compost I felt was really very dry, so I watered the trench before I put the potatoes in, and I've watered it on top just to get it going whilst the auto watering kind of starts to kick in and re-moisten that whole bed, which will take a few weeks, so just enough to get it started. It doesn't use a lot of water until it breaches surface and it starts photosynthesizing, so that should be fine while it's doing that. Yeah, I'll bring you back in 2 seconds to show you the covered bed. Okay, they're all tucked in now, and yeah, I'll see you in a few weeks when it's time to harvest.